We do not sacrifice children. The foundation of Satanism is built upon the self and carrying out the devil's work.
Welcome. It's the Powerful Potential Show. I'm Shelby Scott speaking. And this is one of the topics I like to cover on my channel. Just selling us out to the devil, Satanism, and how these things are actually alive in this world. I've actually ran into a video that lines up with some of the things that I've been discussing on my channel as of late. So without further ado, come on this journey with me. Let's watch this video.
We do not sacrifice children. The foundation of Satanism is built upon the self and carrying out the devil's work. Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
Hi, my name is Zeke Apollyon, and I am the chapter head for the Satanic Temple, London and UK. Welcome. I think what attracted me most to Satanism was just, I think, how preposterous a lot of stuff that was coming from people who called themselves Christians. These people are extremists, they're religious extremists, that use Christianity to kind of further their extremism. Some of these people have blood on their hands, and so I figured if they could do horrible things in the name of Jesus, then I could do wonderful things in the name of Satan.
Look, before we keep going, I just want to show you that the Bible always discuss people being given over to a reprobate mind. Now, I must admit there are some people that do things, some cults out here that exist that does evil things in the name of Jesus, but that is not the cusp of what Christians and Christianity represents. So he has some kind of misguided sense or misguided understanding of what it means to be a Christian, but as you can see, he full-fledged believes what he just said. And in the beginning, they alluded to something that I talk about often, and that's selling yourself to Satan or giving yourself over to the devil is really nothing more than an extreme fixation on self. You heard what they said, an extreme fixation with self. Let's keep going.
It's so liberating. It is so liberating. I don't think I've ever felt as in my own skin as I do as a Satanist, because part of it is looking at ugly sides of yourself and being able to sort of reconcile that, and looking at ugly sides of humanity. No. I don't want to catch anything, and I'm pretty sure other people don't either. People get in touch with us, and we just have a conversation. A lot of times what people want is community. A lot of people feel like outsiders, and so they come to us because they're looking for people that are accepting. They do not come around anymore. They came over one time when we were having a big ritual, and they must have seen it on my face or something, because I opened the door to come out to get.
Now I want y'all to take a look. First of all, of his mannerisms, right? For him to be one of the leaders representing Satanism, as you can see, there's a lot of telling signs about his posterity and the way that he moves that kind of alludes to him being a part of a certain community that I'm not going to name right here because I don't really have proof of that. But, just from the haircut, the mannerisms, and things like that, you can kind of make the assumption of, even if they don't drink blood, let's say he's not on the extreme end of what it means to be a Satanist, the way he's talking about extremism with Christians, because there is an extreme end, there's also an extreme end to Satanism. You see what I'm saying? But look at those eyes. This is just a regular interview. Look at how this man looking. Does it look normal to you guys? It definitely doesn't look normal to me. You know, he just admitted to the fact that they do have rituals, and I say people come to them looking for community. You know, I wish that he would provide more explanation about some of the background of these people that come to them, and a little more detail as far as what type of community are you offering these people. Either way, look at this phrase. I'm a true believer that the eyes are telling, especially when it comes to the spiritual warfare that we participate in. That man's face is telling. Well, let's continue.
At something, and they were walking up the path, and I was just like, no. And they just turned around and left, and I haven't seen them since. We still live in a time when people who are Satanists have to live incognito. But I think in terms of misconceptions about Satanists, I think, people think that we sacrifice babies, that we are engaged in some kind of underground sex trafficking. And I mean, I've definitely met some babies that I haven't really gotten on with very well, but I've...
Hold on. Did y'all see that? Hold on. Let's go back. What was that face he made? Let me see if I can catch.
On sex trafficking, and I mean...
It was like you put a lion's face off, don't it? Hey, look, I'm sorry. I'm not sure. I'm sure. I have no proof of him per se sacrificing a baby, but just look off into the distance, though. Look like a lion technique if I haven't seen one before, bro. For real. I'm trying to tell you guys that the Satanism is real, and what he's doing pretty much is he's trying to sell people on the fact that, hey, we help you improve yourself. Now, I have a self-improvement video, and I'm telling you, self-improvement is a trick of Satan. We really should be seeking spiritual transformation, but as you can see, he's preaching self-improvement, and he's a leader of several different branches of Satanism in Europe, the UK, and I forget what else he said. But he's been focusing on self the whole time, and he's dialing down the more extreme sides of ritualism within Satanism. But look at this face when he says, I haven't seen any baby sacrifice. Why you looking at the distance like that, y'all? Yo, I'm gonna let you draw your own inferences. Let's keep going. Yo, shout out to Vice. I will plug you guys in the description for providing video. I just want to provide commentary on real life, just statements that's coming from the mouths of these actual Satanists that dare to get in front of the camera and share their experiences with us. And more of this will be coming.
I've definitely met some babies that I haven't really gotten on with very well, but I've never actually killed one. There's a little girl in the window right there.
Bruh. Dog. Epitome of weird to me. And as I said earlier, look at the mannerisms. Now, I'm not going to put this on that community, that community is Satanists. A lot of people of that community have experienced traumatizing things, which kind of leads them down that road, and there's others of that community that claim that they were born that way. Have no proof. I'm under the belief that nobody is born that way. But I'm not here to tell somebody how they process their trauma. I am here to tell you that I'm not a believer in that choice, in that lifestyle. And I also feel like you can overcome that lifestyle, but I don't feel like you're less than a person. And I want to treat you like less than a person if that's what your struggle is. But with him being a primary high-ranking representative within Satanism, those mannerisms not a good look in my book. Let's keep going. Psycho.
Satanism, it's been a philosophy or a way of life for people for a very long time. For me, Satanism is really about not letting myself off the hook, and I believe, for me, that being a Satanist is about trying to continually advocate for people, especially people who aren't able to advocate for themselves.
What does all of that mean? For him, so hold on. For him, Satanism means not letting myself off of the hook. Off of what hook? And off of the hook for what? He also believed that Satanism is a chance to advocate for people who can't advocate for themselves. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Death? What are we talking about? People with mental conditions, or people who have the inability to express themselves. Further detail is needed, but this picture right here is telling what kind of mask. Bro, do you see the mask, bro? That's wild, with the candles and everything. And and the person on the left, my bad, I don't know if the shot left you all right, but with me being a viewer, the person on the left, is that a guy? What? Girl? Somebody help me out, bro. Let's keep going.
You could definitely go much worse than to use those things as your way to kind of move forward. Every day. In fact, somebody is probably right now asking us to put them in touch with the devil.
Yo, he just confessed that there's people out here calling these cults and these different groups to try to get in touch with the devil. I wonder what for. Let's see if he expounds on that.
People ask for riches. They ask if we can
Riches.
allow them access to the Illuminati.
Access to the Illuminati.
Some of the weirdest interactions are people who send us satanic prayers. People will sometimes ask us to pass on messages to the devil. And I'm like, we're not the devil's answering service.
Pass on messages to the devil, but there are very, very desperate people out here. They are really, really searching hard for success. There's a lot of people that's actually feeling the pressure of society around them, and it's causing them to make some terrible decisions in their lives, in my opinion, with me being a follower of Christ.
I wish. Satanism is a love affair with the self. Actually,
Satanism is a love affair with the self. With the self. If you guys go and check out my Selling Soul video that I created, other ways that you sell your soul, one of the primary ways that I said most people jump into it is by looking for a freedom from God and the attempt to be in control of their own life, which usually leads to a fixation on self. He just said that Satanism is a love affair with yourself. He just proved to you guys that you don't have to go and do the whole ritualistic situation where you burn candles and ask for Satan to come upon you and you get 3 wishes like a genie. You just have to have a mad desire to want to be in control of your own situation. And you, my friend, are the epitome of what Satanism stands for, if that's the way that you operate within your life. It's crazy, but that just came from a high-ranking Satanist himself. That was an admission by him. All right, we only got a few seconds left. Let's finish this up, and then I'll give my closing thoughts on this.
I think one of the things that the Satanic Temple wants to do is actually sponsor an orgy. We do. But we would be there as people who would fold the towels, and we would make sure that there was enough condoms and lube, and we would provide sex education. A lot of us are trained. Some of us are medics. And what we would do is facilitate what would be a safe, consensual.
All right, look, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Let me give you guys my final thoughts on this. This right here is just proof of some of the things that they believe coming from their own mouths, but some of the thought processes that I've presented to you guys in past videos, and that I will continue to present to you guys. throughout the duration of the Powerful Potential channel, because we want to shed light on these things, because people up here, we're followers of Christ. Okay, I just want to close this by reading a Bible verse that comes from John chapter 8. I'm going to start at verse 39 and end somewhere between 46 and 47. And this is just some of Jesus's offerings about people that follow the devil or the children of Satan. So the context behind this is another one of those moments where the scribes and Pharisees are, failing to listen to what Jesus's actual message is, and they're challenging his message. So they answered him, "Abraham is our father." Jesus said to them, "If you were Abraham's children, you would be doing the works Abraham did, but now you seek to kill me, a man who has told you the truth that I heard from God. This is not what Abraham did. You are doing the works your father did." They said to him, "We were not born of sexual immorality. We have one Father, even God." Jesus said to them, "If God were your Father, you would love me, for I came from God and I am here. I came not of my own accord, but he sent me. Why do you not understand what I say? It's because you cannot bear to hear my word. You are of your father the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. But because I tell the truth, you do not believe me. Which one of you convicts me of sin? If I tell the truth, why do you not believe me? Whoever is of God hears the words of God. The reason why you do not hear them is that you are not of God." So the main thing that I want to point out to you guys is you are of your father the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. So when we don't center ourselves in God and center ourselves in truth, and we have an infatuation with self, and we are the authors and creators of everything that we do in our lives, a lot of the times we speak out of our own desires and out of our own will. And a lot of the times that's a recipe for disaster, because that's an exact emulation of what Satan did and of what Satan does. Yo, this is the Powerful Potential Show. I'm Shelby Scott. Please consider giving your life to Christ, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.